Imagine sleeping in ice, with no blanket, no soft bed, no warm room, just wind, snow, and a freezing cave. At night, the cold became dangerous, because cold steals body heat. So the first blanket was not cloth, it was body heat. Sleeping alone was too risky, so families slept close. Body heat needed protection, so they blocked the wind. Even a small wall helped. Then came fire. Fire was warmth, light, and safety. But fire could die, so someone had to stay awake. Wood became as important as food. Without wood, there was no heat. So they collected wood before dark. And the first cold rule was simple: keep the fire alive. But fire alone was not enough. The ground was freezing too, so they stopped sleeping directly on ice. Leaves, grass, and skins became floor warmth. It was not a blanket, but it stopped heat from escaping into the ground. Then they used animal skins around their bodies. Fur trapped warm air. Bare skin lost heat fast, so covering the body mattered, especially hands and feet. Cold fingers made work harder. Cold feet made walking painful. So simple foot wraps helped. They were not shoes like ours, but they kept skin away from ice. Then came the biggest trick: do everything together: fire, fur, friends, and shelter. But staying warm had another problem. Smoke filled the cave. Too much smoke hurt their eyes. So the fire needed the right spot. Near the entrance, smoke could escape, but the entrance was colder, so they built a windshield. Now the fire warmed better. Then they found warm stones. Stones held heat for a while. They placed stones near sleeping spots, but stones cooled down too, so they rotated them by the fire. Moving also made heat, but sweating was dangerous. Wet skin became cold fast, so they dried skins near fire. Dry fur meant more warmth. Wet fur was a problem, so the cave became a warmth machine. But the warm cave was not enough. They still had to go outside, because hunger did not wait for warm weather. First problem: the ground. Soft snow looked safe, but it swallowed feet, and trapped feet got cold fast. So they used packed paths. Packed snow saved energy, and energy was body heat. Second problem: the wind. Wind stole warmth faster than still air, so they turned their backs. They used bodies like shields. Then they covered the face. Warm breath stayed near the skin, but wet skin turned against them. Wet clothes stole heat, so dry fur was protected like treasure. The rule was simple: stay dry, stay together, stay moving. Before night, they had one big job: collect enough wood, because cold nights were long, and one small fire burned fast. So they made a wood pile. The wind changed direction. The old shelter stopped working, so they moved the shield. Wind protection had to change too. Then the baby started shivering. The smallest stayed in the center. Adults became the blanket. But sleeping too close could smother the fire, so they made a safe circle, close enough for warmth, far enough from danger. Then someone heard the fire crackle less. A guard saved the night. Morning meant the plan worked. They survived because warmth became a system. But the next morning was not easy. The cold came back again. So they needed more than fire. First, they checked their fur. Loose fur let cold air sneak in. Tighter wrapping worked better. So they tied skins with strips. Next, they protected their feet. Ice pulled heat from the body, so they wrapped their feet. These were not real shoes, but they kept skin away from ice. Hands needed help too. Cold fingers made work slow, so they wrapped their hands. Dry wraps worked best. Wet wraps became freezing traps. So dry gear stayed near the fire. Warm hands meant faster work. Warm feet meant they could keep moving.